Hi everybody and welcome back. Please hit like and subscribe while you're here, and I promise there will be a time when I don't say that anymore because I won't need it. But now is not that time and I do need it, so you'd be really helping me out. I'm Rachel from the Preschool Development Centre and I'm here to talk to you today about our theme of the earth. It's a really nice theme. It can go in any direction. You can talk about the environment, or you can talk about saving the environment, you can talk about your local environment, or just look at the planet as a whole and just talk about colours and design and shapes and where things come from. So I'm going to go through a few lessons with you and hopefully to help you out and to add to your file. You can get the download of the lessons on my blog below when you're finished. Print them out and put them in your file and you'll have them there forever. So normally I try to do the activities for you or show you just a little sample of the activities, and the sample I was going to show you today was of my beautiful Play-Doh parts of the earth. However, I made the Play-Doh and then my kids were like, I want that, you can't use it, and then they mixed it all together, so I don't have Play-Doh for you today, but I will tell you all about the Play-Doh. So we're going to talk about what makes the earth. So we have a little red ball of Play-Doh, that is our inner core. We just make that into a lovely little ball. We normally do this in a group lesson or one-on-one, and then add it to the shelf to let the children play afterwards. And then we'll get some orange Play-Doh and we'll flatten it out and we'll place the inner core inside the outer core and wrap it around it. And then we'll go to the mantle, which I will make red. Sorry, I had to check what colour that was. So again, flatten it out and then wrap the others in it. And so all you see is red, and we'll talk about the words for that. And then we have blue, so we'll flatten out a big sheet of blue and we'll talk about that being the crust. So we'll wrap it and then we'll get green and just make little continents and stick that on it as well. And then we'll get a knife and we will cut it open and we'll be able to see the different colours of the ball. It's a really, really nice activity. It is fairly teacher-led, which normally I don't enjoy, but it's fairly necessary for this one. Or you can give all the children a piece of Play-Doh and they can all take turns doing it, which obviously is the best way to do it, but depending on the age of your kids, that might not be possible, but you still want to have the conversation and introduce the language. So whatever focus you have on, that's okay. The next lesson that we're going to talk about with the kids this week is rocks. We're going to talk about rocks because rocks make up the earth. We're going to invite the children at the start of the week to bring in all sorts of rocks to our science table, and we will lay them out with, we can have a pot of water with a paintbrush and see what colours they are when they're wet. We can wait and see what colours they are when they're dry. If you have older preschool kids, they might want to document this somehow, either with pictures or drawings. We'll talk about the types of rock and if they're local. A lot of people will bring back volcanic rock from holiday, and that's not local, but it's still a type of rock, and if anyone has that to bring in, that would be great. And we can bring in magnifying glasses. We can look at the rocks with the magnifying glass. We can look at pieces of sand, and we can see what the sand is made of. It's ground down rocks. They're really tiny, but they're all there, and you can see all the different colours. So that's just a lot of science classification. It's some fine motor work if you're using the water and the paintbrush to make them change colour. And we can also talk about texture and things like that throughout the week. Moving on, staying slightly with rocks if you want, we're going to do a sink and float tub. So obviously we're talking about the earth. It's a very science-based week, but we want to bring as much sensory activity as we want, because even though, as I said in last week's video, we've moved on, everyone is settled well, and hopefully everyone is really engaged with their learning. But still, we always want to give the children that opportunity to kind of come back to earth and put their hands into something and calm them and to reassure them. And it's just really nice to always provide very meaningful sensory activities. So we're going to make a kind of foam this week. Normally for foam I just use Charles soap and water and I whisk it, and you can always re-whisk it if you have an electric whisk and you make it obviously up from the children, even better, because you can always re-whisk it. So just a bit of food colouring, water and soap. But I found this really great recipe that's half a cup of children's soap, a cup of water, 4 tablespoons of flour, half the mixture once it's mixed, add blue food colouring to one and green food colouring to the other, and then it makes it really creamy foam. I don't think that it whisks up again as well, but for an activity it's really, really fun. So I would put this in a large sensory tub, add in some creatures from land and sea, blue on one side, green on the other, and just let the kids go to town. Yes, it's messy, but just be prepared, lay down paper towels or newspaper or towels and have somewhere for them nearby to wash their hands. Even if it's just a tub where they can just rinse the foam off and then go to the bathroom and properly clean their hands, it's perfect. So the next scientific activity that we have this week is a sink or float activity. As easy as it sounds, big tub of water, have the children pick an item from the room, any item, once it can get wet, and everyone's going to guess if it's going to sink or it's going to float. And this is the perfect thing to do on a Friday, you know, when you're kind of half cleaning up, half finishing paperwork and looking after the kids, and the kids, you know, they're tired from the week and they want to be finished. We're going to do something really, really fun together, and we're going to do this, and it can take a short time or a long time, whatever you want, but it is really, really fun. And I think you should do this as often as you want throughout the year, but I introduce it now because we're introducing the oceans, so that's the correlation there. And the last activity I have for you this week is tree planting. So we are going to either get apple seeds or any fruit seeds, and we are going to germinate them. Normally I would just kind of get recycled yogurt pots and put in some soil and put the seed in, but I actually found out recently it's better to put them in between two pieces of tissue paper that you keep wet to let them sprout first. So 2 pieces of tissue paper, put the cleaned seeds in and just spray them with water, leave them a window until you get a little white root. And when you get the little white root, then you can put them into the recycled yogurt pots with the soil. Now, I normally go crazy with the recycled yogurt pots. You know, they can paint them, stick paper to them, colour them in with markers, whatever they want. And then we will keep them on a windowsill in the classroom and spray them with a little bit of water when they get dry. Keep an eye on them, and then when they start to sprout, I will send them home. It's a really, really nice activity. I really like it a lot, and it kind of brings it to the environmental thing, and we can talk about trees and what they do for us. You know, we've just been talking about trees a couple of weeks ago with autumn. We're going to be talking about trees again coming to winter. So to have that kind of growth in front of us, that tangible thing, it's really, really beneficial. So before you go today, and thank you if you're after watching this far, but before you go, don't forget to hit subscribe and check out below to download all the lessons that you need. You can look back through my channel for all the previous videos and demonstrations. And I will see you again next week where we're going to do our Halloween lessons. Thanks everybody, bye!